You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the special business edition here on Business Talk Radio and social media. I'm your host and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I am a certified life and career coach. With me today, as always on our business show, is my friend, partner, and co-host, Mr. Al Cini. Hi, Al. Welcome.
Hi, Dr. Jacalyn. It's great to be here.
It's fabulous. And guess what? We have another top-notch guest with us today.
I know. I'm all excited.
I am so excited too.
Everybody, whether they know it or not, is in the publishing business these days. Because social media has become so pervasive, who you are as a company is communicated not by your print ads or by your television commercials, but by everything your people and you say and do everywhere on social media. And so content marketing matters, and you really need to think about it before you do it, because you need to you approach it with a plan. And that's what Ghatt knows the most about. She's an expert in that field.
She's so accomplished. I think you're familiar with Clubhouse. I shared that with you about Clubhouse, the app. It's such an incredible tool. And she was in a room. I think she was moderating the room. It was her room. We'll find out definitely. But I was in there listening, and I never raised my hand before. I was actually scared. And I raised my hand, and I was brought up onto the stage to ask her about YouTube and about social media. Because as you know, our path to market is through Business Talk Radio, but it's also social media. And it's really hard, especially for me, quite honestly, to get the branding correct, to understand how to get the followers. And I know there's a whole art to it. So I'm going to ask JJ more about that too. But she's accomplished so much. She's a veteran content creator, and she is the co-founder of several award-winning companies. She also started an annual list of 200 Black women to follow on Twitter. So she's just knocking it out of the ballpark. And
she is somebody that everybody who listens and watches the program, the business edition in particular, if you're an owner of a business or a marketing person in a business, you really want to get to know Ghatt and learn from her.
And she also has a strong background as an attorney. So she's argued cases that involve civil rights, consumer protection, and children's advocacy groups. So
there's a tie in there. There's a tie in there too, because a lot of people just post pictures and music on their social media and don't realize there could be legal ramifications to that. So something else we can talk about.
Yes. Well, why don't we bring her out?
I think that's a great idea.
Welcome, JJ.
JJ, it's nice to see you.
Nice seeing you guys.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. This is
a great opportunity for us.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
By the way, I love the vibrant yellow background. It just makes me feel happy.
Yeah. This is my dining room, because after COVID, everyone's home, so everyone has to find a corner of the home that they used to. So I got kicked out of my office because my husband is working, and he's just like, I can't with you in the Clubhouse and the online and the internet. But this is my space.
You need your own space. You definitely need your own space.
So, and I love the yellow. It's bright. It lifts my mood. And we have the large bay windows in this room, so I get lots of light in. So yeah, it's the best space.
That's wonderful.
All that energy is part of your brand. It's something we get to know just by watching you and seeing where you're sitting.
Yes.
Which is part of content marketing, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
It's not just what you say. I remember I've seen statistics. Verbal communication is only about 10% of communication. The other 90% is everything else. What are people doing wrong? What do they need to learn from you?
Okay, what they definitely need to know is that a lot of times businesses will start a business. They have a product or service they want to get out to market, and one of the first things they would do is create a website. And the website is where someone can go and find out what the business offers. They can find out about the business. They can purchase or learn more, just generally. But the thing about websites is that they're static. You create them one time and you stick up your products. Unless you have an e-commerce shop where you're kind of constantly updating with inventory changes, with price changes, with sales. For the most part, most businesses are static. They put it up once and they leave it. Now, what happened is the problem with and why content marketing is important is because all of the tools, all of the ways that people find you. So people can find you by just learning about you, and you give them your website, you give them a card, or you send them a flyer, or you send them a magnet that they put in the refrigerator, and they can go and type that in. But that's not how most people find you. Most people find you by searching. And what happened is these search engines, starting with Google, YouTube, Pinterest, because I'm also a Pinterest marketing expert, people are searching and looking for. So if you have a plumbing business and someone wants to go to local plumbing, they're not necessarily going to go to the phone book. They're not going to go look to see who left the flyer at the door. They're going to go to Google. They're going to go to their local online, perhaps the community has a bulletin board, and they're going to say, hey, is my pipe disposed? Do you know anyone? They're going to ask a question. And so that's what businesses do wrong, is they don't have something on their website to keep their website constantly uploaded and updated so it speaks to Google. And Google prefers content or pages that are constantly updated. And one of the ways you need to have it constantly updated, besides having your inventory, is to have a blog or some other sources of something on there that makes your website more active, more Google friendly. So they do not optimize their website or their web presence to be found in search. And the way you do that is by the easiest way is by having a blog or having a content marketing strategy where you are constantly attaching a social associated with that business with a social account. And that social account is also constantly updated, interacting with other people online, posting images, responding in comments, engaging with other people's content. And so that's what businesses fail to do, is sometimes they just feel like, and they wonder, like, how come my business is slow? I'm not growing. People aren't coming to me. People aren't finding me. Is because in 21st century, in 2021 and beyond, people have been spoiled. No one goes anywhere. They expect you to come to them. You have to reach them, whether it's through ads, whether it's through content marketing, whether it's through social. You have to go out and reach them and let them know, hey, I'm here. I have something for you. Here's some top 10 tips. And by the way, while you're here, we offer one of these services, and we say here's the top 10 ways to winterize your home. Prepare your house for the winter storm season is these 4 ways. And by the way, we provide one of those services. And so there's the content, you're providing them with services, you give them information, and then you're also plugging your business. And that's the content marketing part. So you're using content to market your business.
Wow. Well, listen, there was so much to unpack in what you just said. And I want to start I'll share a quick experience.
Okay, great.
One of the most important things I think you just said reminded me of I was embarrassed once upon a time that I didn't have a fax machine. Oh. And then I was embarrassed that I still had a fax machine. and
machines are good.
Well, and I think when you said that a lot of people just sort of throw up a website and then forget it, mm-hmm. You can never forget it. If you forget it, the world will roll right past it. Exactly. And this is not something that your local 19-year-old kid down the block who does it for $100 is going to know. So your website is your life's blood, and if you're not paying attention to it constantly, you're going to die, JJ. Isn't that right?
It's true. And we have a comment, by the way, from Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. That Google optimization was an eye opener for me. Yeah, me too. Yeah. And JJ, what I wanted to share was when I was speaking with you in Clubhouse, you completely opened my mind about the purpose of hashtags. Right. So I went back to my YouTube. When I put up a show, when I create a broadcast, I just put Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn welcomes JJ Ghatt. Nothing else. Like, who's looking for that? No one's looking for Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, right?
Right.
So, and then you said you have to think about what are people searching for. So we just talked about they're asking a question. Right. So mind blowing.
Right. Yeah, it is. Each platform has its own way that people ask questions, and that's the other thing too. But for the most part, generally, there's these called keywords, which essentially you want to rank. So if you, for example, have a nail salon, one of the keywords associated with nails, and gets to Al's point about constantly updated. So the last time I, used to go to a nail salon, these are the type of nails that I used to do, gel nails. So if I were doing a blog post about nails, I would say, let me do gel nails. However, you go to keyword searching, and that's the importance that you mentioned, Dr. Jacalyn, about using hashtags to see what people are searching for. They have different tools, like SEMrush is a tool that I use sometimes, and there's other ones, Keywords Everywhere, which is a free service plugin you can add to your browser extension. And what that does is wherever you go online, it'll tell you what are the keywords that people are searching for, what are people associated with. So back to the nail example. So if I was going to do a blog post because I want to drive traffic to my blog and I'm doing gel nails, if I just did that because that's what I think, because that's what I know, I would be wondering, oh, this isn't picking up traction. Why? It's because before you do content, if you're a business, you have to go and see what are people searching for. So today I use Pinterest. So I go to Pinterest and I type in nails. They have a keyword search. It's going to bring me all these other categories underneath it. So I'm like, interesting. I'm going to see coffin nails. I'm going to see stiletto nails. I'm going to see all these things that I never knew about. I didn't think about. That's not my experience. The last time I did gel nails, all we had the option was just regular gel nails, square and round. What is all these stiletto, coffin? What is all this stuff? You know what I mean? Like, this is all new to me. So that's what people are searching for. So if I were to do it just based on what I know, I would miss out on all of those different terms. So now I see what people are searching for. I can now retarget and readjust and say, you know what, I'm going to do a post for the top 5 different types of nails that people enjoy, or how to do winter nails, stiletto nails, because people are searching for stiletto nails. People are searching for coffin-shaped nails. So that's an example of using keywords and also looking for what people are searching for and surrounding your content around what people are searching for in order to get found in search, in order for them to find you. And so what Dr. Jacalyn was saying, like, if she just put no one's searching for that, but what I just mentioned, you start a business, what are the things you need to do? Her YouTube video, when she reposts this on YouTube, one of the keywords she would say, business 101 tips. When you're starting up a business, what your business website should include. That's what people are searching for. They're looking at, what should my business website include? I'm starting a business. What types of things do I need to do? How do I keep my business blog updated? That's the stuff I'm talking about. That's what people are searching for. So your hashtags need to include what people are searching for.
Oh, okay,
Wow.
JJ. I'm thinking there are people.
We're fighting to talk to her. Go ahead.
No, but I just want before we get too much further, there are people out there who own businesses that are listening to you and they're going, and so real quick, how do you help companies solve these problems?
Okay. So one of the things I do is I have 2 things. One, I do audits. So essentially, if you've already established a website already, I would audit it and say, okay, this is what we need to add. So here's your website. I usually always say you need to have a blog component. For now, for example, I have a client and she's established her brand for the first time. She wants to establish a personal brand. So one of the first things we did is we looked at her social and then looked at her blog and said, we need to have a cohesive branding messaging. So I was doing an audit. Said, what do you have now? So let's look at what you have now. Okay, let's enhance. Based on what you have now, I will ascertain the various different social media platforms that are best for your business, best for your personality, best for what you have time for, because some of them are really labor intensive. Like Dr. Jacalyn, no, you can go down Clubhouse and be there forever, hours and hours. The good thing about that platform for them is that time on app is like significantly longer. YouTube, for example, they prefer people to be on YouTube. They prefer your videos to be 10 minutes or longer. Luckily, because you have a streaming show, you meet that qualification easily. But so for these social media platforms, they prefer anyone who's keeping people on app. So they can be labor intensive, but based on you and what you have time for, what type of business you are, who your clients are, we ascertain which of the various different social media platforms, because you can't be everywhere. You can establish a presence, but if you're not nurturing each, if someone notice that you're just auto posting, they will say, okay, that's a dummy account, that's a robot account. They're not engaging. They won't necessarily follow you. So we need to find which of the 1 or 2 platforms that you're able to dedicate energy to. Once we establish that, then we link those to your website. We have a blog, and we make sure all of that content is constantly fresh, updated. So your website has to have a blog component that's updated so you don't have to have both, but you have to have a minimum of a blog post and or a social. And the reason why you need the social is because the social and links it will tell someone that's constantly activated. There are, I don't know how many businesses fail every year. Every year there's hundreds of thousands of business, and a lot of them go out of business. So if I want looking for a candle and I don't want to go traditional, I want to support a small business, and I go and I search either Google or Pinterest, YouTube, and I discover your website. If you don't have anything to let me know that website is being that business is still in business, because it's a small business. A lot of people know small business go out of town. Before I send my money to you to send me a calendar, I need to know that your website, that your business is still updated. But just having copyright 2021 at the bottom is not enough. I need something else on your website to let me know that you're still in business. The 2 things that people look for It's a blog. A blog is updated normally, and then they'll click if you have a social, and then click the social and see. That's where I'll go to your social. I see you just uploaded a picture of your latest candle. You just finished responding back. If you're on Twitter, you just finished retweeting someone. You just finished tweeting your sale. So then I said, okay, they're still in business. I can now do business with you. So that's the other good part about doing having a blog or social is not just because you're a favorite in the search engine algorithm, and so people are discovering you. Also, that people who come to buy from you now they know based on your blog, based on your social, that you're still in business, and then they feel comfortable leaving, contacting and engaging in commerce with you, whether it's a B2B, which is business to business, or it's a consumer B2C, just a consumer just wants to purchase from you directly for their own personal use.
Wow, really important.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, you are just a wealth of knowledge, and I'm writing things down.
I was going to ask if you were taking notes.
I have so many things. I want you to go to my website and tell me what I need to do.
I'm afraid if she goes to the website.
Oh no! It's a lot of these
that's
minor tweaks. There's a little thing there's little small 1 or 2 things you need to do. Think they're missing. I recently did a survey of 50 candle makers. And that was a wonderful experience. I just did it for my blog. I have various different blog properties. I have a parenting blog, a ethnic blades blog, a tech blog, and a business blog, a small business blog. And so for one of my websites, I decided to just provide 50 candle makers, right? So the good thing about that is that I had to go to their sites. In order for me to recommend them or put their content, I had to actually go to those sites. So I did it myself. So I went to 50 different sites, and that was useful because then that gave me an opportunity to kind of see the landscape of all these different competitors, who's doing it right, who's not doing it right, and who was needs help. And so when I was done, I did tell some other people, hey, you guys, this has been a great exercise. The winner of who won from all these 50 is, let's say photos of candle makers. You know why they won? When I went to that website, they had some sort of marklet to say anyone who comes to our website, they had a pixel. So the pixel saw me go to the website. That pixel followed me and said, "Oh, she's in Facebook." So what the pixel did is they did a retargeting ad. So all of a sudden in my stream, I see candles ads for this one candle company. I've surveyed 50. Only one candle company out of the 50 saw me go to their site, had a pixel follow me, the cookies in the internet, and follow me to Facebook, and start retargeting and say, you came to our site. So, we have a cold lead. I never knew them before, so I was a cold lead. So I went there the first time. You guys out there in business, you know the difference between cold, warm, and hot leads. So I was cold because I never knew this candle existed before. So once I left, and now I'm no longer cold because I've been to the website. I am now warm. So when they come and retarget and send me ads through Facebook, I now have a frame of reference. I remember going to their site. I am now warm lead. And there's a saying, I'm not quite sure what it is in business, but people need to interact with your brand, especially if you're a new brand, 8 or 9 times before they actually purchase. They make a purchasing decision. Don't quote me on the exact time because I don't know, but whatever that time is. So now I have and they're retargeting. And so eventually when I need a candle, I'm going to say, I'm going to buy from Photo Wix candles because I went to their site. I see them all the time. Yeah, I need candles. Let me buy a couple go back to their site, buy a couple of candles. That was only one. They're the winner. Now the losers were the people who had they had no residential place, no address.
Oh.
I'm not buying at any place that doesn't have an address because one, who's sending them? Who's going into me? If I have a problem, who can I contact? If I want to go to the Better Business Bureau or I want to contact the Consumer Protection Bureau in that state, I don't know what state they're in because they had no information on their website. The other thing they didn't have, some of them didn't have a customer service page. If you can't tell me how I can return, how I can talk to a customer, if I have a problem with my account, if I want a refund, if my candle was broken, or I'm not quite sure how this candle works. If you don't have a customer service contact, I'm not buying from you. So they're losing sales. The only sales they're going to get is if they go to a vending market or they go vend or they have a family or friend or people know them and say, hey, you can go buy it from my site. Those folks, because they know them already, they have a relationship, they'll go buy and trust them. But the average person who just jumps in their site, they're losing all that money just by not having, when I said there's simple tweaks. All they have to do, add an address, add a customer thing. Simple tweaks that people can do and that change, miraculously start getting sales. Like, whoa, wow, this is mind blowing. That's all I do is add an address because they were using Wix.com. They're using these done for you templates, sort of, fix it and go turnkey sort of out of the box websites that say, oh, you need an e-commerce site, just drop this, this, and this. And so it's easy when they're just rushing to put together a site to forget those critical things because someone just said, you need a website. Oh, I need a website, Wix.com, put up my thing. And so they spend all this time putting up their resources, all their products, putting the prices, the different terms, the descriptions, and they forget the basic things like they don't have an address.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
That's a great, wow. You know, we have to take a commercial break, but what I also want to talk to you about is, as someone as a small business owner who started in August, right? I spend hours on my website, and I'm not sure if I'm putting up content that resonates with people or not. I know I'm spending a lot of time there. I know I'm updating it. I know I'm trying to bring new things there, but I like this idea of the, whatever you said, the pixel, what is it? A pixel that follows?
Retargeted pixel, yes.
Yeah.
It's funny because if you've ever had that creepy feeling that you say something to somebody and all of a sudden you see an ad pop up on a website for what you're talking about.
We can talk about that on the other side of the break.
We really ought to, definitely, because that the internet, you're being online is an experience from front to back. It's not just a bunch of separate things. If you can carry the story from site to site, you can sell a lot more. And that's why JJ Ghatt's such a great resource. Send a message to Business Talk Radio. We're going to be on all day.
We have our own channel. We can be on all day. So,
great.
All right, we're going to take a break. Stay with us on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the business talk show with my co-host Al Cini and our special guest JJ Ghatt. We'll be right back.
Thanks, JJ.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with Ghatt was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the Ghatt partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend Ghatt partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, a special edition of the Business Talk Show, live here on Business Talk Radio and social media. I'm accompanied by Mr. Al Cini, my co-host, and our special guest, JJ Ghatt. Hello. We're talking all things about how to market your business online, right? It's a subject that affects anyone and everyone who wants to be able to have an online presence. And we have an expert with us today. JJ, I wanted to ask you to share, in addition to what you do on social media, you have this website that offers content, photographs, photography.
Oh, yes.
Picnoy, can you share more about that with us?
Sure. Yes. So so my previous life, you mentioned that I was an attorney. I went to journalism school, undergraduate, and then because my dad, when I was growing up, he used to talk a lot. So my dad said, and I used to argue with him. He says, "You argue so much, you should be a lawyer." And I was like, "Oh, never. You're so rebellious. Like, I'm not going to do what you want me to do." So I went to journalism school because I was on a yearbook squad in high school, and I did journalism, and I loved it. And then what happened is, then after the end of the 4 years, I was like, I'm not ready for a job. And so, sometimes, I mean, if you guys have kids or you have nephews or nieces, when they're done graduating, they don't want to head to the real world. So you do grad school. So I was like, finally, I'll go to law school. So I did that for 3 years, did that for a while. And what I did recently, after that, I returned. When I had my first child, I had a baby book. When I had my second kid, I filled out the baby book halfway. When I had my third kid, I said, I'm not doing the baby because I don't have any time for this. And a friend of mine recommended, she said, why don't you do a blog? Back then blogging was big. It was about 12 years ago. And blogging, she's 13 now, blogging was big. And they said, you should do a pregnancy journal through your blog. That way your family, because I have family members in Trinidad and Sierra West Africa, New York, Canada, Europe, Florida, all over the world. And they could document and be part of my pregnancy journal. So I started a blog. So I started blogging, which is kind of a return to my journalism roots. And so I did that for long. And so the reason why I tell you this is because I joined various different blogging communities. And so for several years, I was members of blogging communities. And one thing that they used to ask repeatedly is, we'd like to have access to resources. You cannot go to Google Images. Never do this if you're listening or you're watching and see an image on there and put that on your website and put that on your blog or whatever like that. Because what happens is a lot of them are copyrighted and photographers own them and they're people's children and family. And so, you can get contacted and the law is on their side. And not only would you be charged, they can charge you the going rate of it. They can charge you what's called treble damages. There's a statutory amount of money on top of whatever they charge on there to sort of to make the person whose images you're using whole. So you should never use images. So they have these stock photography companies. And so when you go to stock photography companies, you type in woman, smiling child, woman, man. A lot of times you just get just one type of person. You just get a white person, usually a blonde-haired kid, and that would be it. So if you are a person of color, or your audience is a variety of people, or you're reaching out a diverse community, sometimes you want your images to reflect the community, reflect the world, include everyone. So I started Picnon.com as a resource. What I did was I went to all of the various different style companies, and what I did was I contacted the photographers and I got their Creative Commons Zero license. Creative Commons Zero, for those of you listening, means that you can use this image for however you want. You can put it in your ad, you can make a flyer, you can put it on your website without asking permission in advance of the photographer. You can edit it, you can use it for commercial purposes. You can put it on a label for one of your products. So I took all the Creative Commons licenses, various different websites. So Pexels.com is one, Unsplash, if you're listening.com is one, Pixabay was Pixabay, or another one. Those are the three largest places where you can get free images, Creative Commons license 0 images. So I sourced all of the diverse images on it. I put them on one site. So instead of having to search to eliminate the search reason, you can just go to my site and just search and get it right there. It's faster. It cuts out some of this. That's how Picknoir got started. 2016. 5 years we're still going. I have another business model for that I'm working on later on. But right now you can go there, search, and get any images free, or you can download. So to offset the cost of it right now, you can download all the images. I think the price is like $9.99. You download the entire library for yourself and categorize it how you want, hire a VA or someone from Fiverr to organize it for you to make sense for your company, so you can do that. So that's Picnoi.com, Picnoi.com.
Dr. Jacalyn, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, and most people I don't think are. Digital images that are copyrighted are also tagged electronically in ways that you can't see. So if you think just by using a picture you're going to get away with it because people won't see it, they have software that'll find it. And if they find you using it, they can pursue you legally, and it can cost you a lot of money, as JJ just said. And music too. I mean, any media.
Oh yeah.
It's I remember I used to work for a pretty big broadcast company, and there was concern. You want to play a song? Well, you've got to make sure that you paid for all the licensing. You've got to make sure you're covered before you play that song. And the bigger you are, the more money you have to pay if you're not careful about that. So JJ, that alone is a great reason to call you, just to find out more about that.
Yeah, for sure. And then on YouTube, Dr. Jacalyn, YouTube, they have these machines now. With you mentioned Al about being in the broadcasting industry. It's an act called the Digital Millennial Copyright Act. I think it's about 10 years old. You're probably familiar with it. When essentially it provides people like StreamYard, Dr. Jacalyn, you qualify for this as well. Anyone who has content online, if you're using YouTube or you're using Facebook, or using whatever you're using, even your own blogs for you business owners. If you have a website and you have a blog on your website and you have a portion of your blog that allows people to comment or someone to leave a comment about your business, and in that comment, your business, if they say something slanderous or libelous, or they harass someone, or they do anything that will violate some sort of local or federal law, the Digital Millennial Copyright Act sort of like gave you all a safe harbor, essentially meaning that you're not responsible for someone else. If you have a user-generated content, when someone comes on, which is SG, with user-generated content. Yeah, someone comes on and does something that's slanderous or damaging, or even someone posts a copyrighted image, or they say, "Hey, look at this," and it's someone's copyright. You're protected there's a safe harbor that says, so to the extent that you let people know that this is not from us, you have a protection, from that. And so as a sort of there was been lawsuits, and it started with a mom who put on YouTube a video of her child singing some song, and the company took it down and gave her copyright, and it came out. So she sued. She said, I as a mother should be allowed to have my child play or have a little streaming of my child's birthday moments and have this small song and not be sued for it. And so so she kind of won, but what happened is the way the industry settled, they said, well, we'll have machines. And so that's why if you upload a song onto any of these social media platforms, Twitter, I don't know Twitter. Yeah, Twitter, yeah. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, not TikTok, unless it's part of their catalog and use it in app. The minute you take it from that app to another platform, the machines quickly stand the same machines that Shazam and SoundHound, which are two apps, the listening apps. If you play a song, you're like, what's that song? You go into a store and there's a song playing on overhead in the grocery store. You could take out your app and then put the app, and the app listens to it, and the app identifies. So that same technology is a technology that all the social medias have. So that's how they can quickly know. The minute you upload it, you're going to get a thing that says your song has been ripped. There's a copyright claim on your song. Universal Studios or CBS Broadcasting owns the rights to this song, or AMI owns the rights to this video or anything like that. I uploaded something from Mad Men. Within the second, they knew the clip. It was the audio and the video. They knew the clip. Like that clip is owned by HBO. Not HBO. Was Mad Men was TMC. The movie. Was it whatever?
AMC.
AMC. Yeah, AMC.
Yeah.
AMC owns the right to that. So it's quick because they have machines, and so that machine thing is AI. It's part of So you as a website owner, as a business, can protect it, but in exchange for protecting you, now the exchange was, and now they can quickly use machines to quickly find and pull content off the internet. So,
Well,
So so I have a question. So let's say I pay every month for the Apple Music.
yes.
And so I get the music. So I can't take that song that I paid for and use it on my website or use it or play it during the show or no.
No, you can't. I got you can apply. Some places are nice and say sure. For example, I had Beyonce, Sony is a publisher for her music, and so inside my own house, I did an Instagram Reels or something. Ooh, this came on Instagram Reels or whatever, and the music was in my house. I purchased her song. Like you said, you go to Apple, you have the streaming, or you purchase it. I own the song, and I'm lip syncing, and then they took it down and struck and say, "Hey, there's a claim." So you can actually, and I do this all the time. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, but I do. I don't do it on YouTube because YouTube's crazy. YouTube would like shut your whole channel down. But I do it on other social media platforms. So you can reply back and say, "No, I purchased that. I own the rights. It was playing in my home. The rights that I got when I purchased it was the right to enjoy it in my home. I was enjoying that song in my home. I just happened to have Instagram thing open at the same time, but it was in my house. I was enjoying it within the rights that I got. And it's not my fault that the Instagram thing picked it up, even though I was lip syncing." And they were like, "Okay, sure." And they let me have it. They let me keep it. They said, "Okay."
Wow.
You
My
win.
gosh.
Yeah. So there are ways, and a lot of times one time I lost. I'm gonna tell you how I lost. So I lost recently. So this was like this. I lost like 2 weeks ago. So I tried to do the same thing, but I used a different exception because I have a legal background. I used another different exception. They didn't buy it. And it was NBC Universal. So there's a piece of there's a Broadway musical called The Wizard of Oz. So, and then there was like the 1970s, there's a play version called The Wiz. It was like all black cast reimagination of The Wizard of Oz. It's called The Wiz. And then they made that into a movie in 1973, 74, starring Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Nipsey Russell, and some other folks. So it was a movie. So the movie version, NBC owns it, NBC Universal owns it. So I took like a 3-minute, 2-minute, like 39-second portion of that 2-hour, 3-hour television adaptation of that play. So that actually it's a movie adaptation of the play, but it's been on TV a lot. So someone put it up on YouTube, and somehow, some way, it's still on YouTube. So I downloaded it off of YouTube, and I took that snippet, and I did a post on Facebook, and I put it on Facebook and on Twitter. Twitter took it down. They didn't even give me a chance to push back. They stripped it. Facebook said, "Hey, NBC Universal claims this music, part of the music, so it's been muted. If you'd like to challenge it, you can challenge it if you think you own the rights to it." So it was different because normally I'll just say I own the rights. I just say unmuted. I have the rights to do it, and they'll put it back. No problem. No questions asked. But NBC Universal, they have a different level. So if someone cancels it, the Facebook gave me the benefit of the doubt when I said I have the right to use it. They're like, "All right, yeah, sure." That's what they normally do for me, and my music will come on. That's when I take a song, create a clip in like TikTok or Reels or Pinterest, and I take it to Facebook. Whoever it is that licensed that song to TikTok, to Reels, or whatever, will have a claim once they bring it to Facebook. They're like, "We don't have any business with Facebook, so take it off." But Facebook gives me the benefit of the doubt if I say, "Hey, I have the rights to use this because I got it from another platform." Facebook was like, "Okay, sure," and they'll put the music back. For NBC Universal, so each different copyright owner, it says, have different standards. So NBC Universal is like, "No, you're not going to just remove it. You're going to let them apply for it." So they did put it back temporarily, and they said, "Tell us why you have the rights to use it." Because I'm a lawyer, I know that an exception to the copyright is if you have a piece of content and you're using for critique, for parody, for educational purposes. That's why come university professors can take copyright pieces of a copyrighted book and make copies of it, because they're not taking the whole book and hand it out and distribute it and copy it, because that's part of their rights, is the rights to mass produce it, produce copies that you hand out to class, because that's within the copyright exception. Or if you're doing a political commentary. So I said that portion of the video, and also if it's a small amount. So it's 2-minute, 39 seconds of a 3-hour TV adaptation or movie adaptation of a play. 3 hours. I'm using 2 minutes and 39 seconds. So I said that's one exception, because I'm using a small portion. The second thing I said, the reason I use that piece of the song is for political commentary. So we're using it to critique, there's a portion of it for educational purposes. I said, this is for political commentary. And they rejected it. And they were like, no, but you can appeal it. And I'm like, forget it. It's just a Facebook post. The moment has passed anyway. It was related to a moment that happened 2 weeks ago. It's no longer even relevant anymore. So I'm like, forget it. That's okay. It's gone.
So was this whole back and forth done on Facebook messaging or something, or was it done via letter? How did you go back and forth with it?
It was on Facebook. So Facebook had the pop-up. You get the alerts on Facebook when it says such and such made a comment or post, such and such, posted a new thing. So one of the things said, your video has been muted. And then it said, click here if you like to appeal. So I click it and then it gives me a new box. And then a fresh, either a new page, a Facebook business page, or just a box and say, if you feel like you have the rights to it, put in this box why you have the rights to it. We're going to send it to NBC Universal and have someone manually versus a machine. Because remember, the machine just caught it. There was no human being who saw that. There's no one who could possibly catch it that fast. So then we're going to have a human being manually review your views. And so I did. Another time I won with YouTube, I did a video on YouTube, and I monetized, and so they partially demonetized. I was doing a critique of Kanye West. I was talking about Kanye West, and in the critique, I had images of one of his fashion shows, and his models were wearing these muted brown and green clothes. Again, the machines, these days and age, the machine thought those women or those men, those body figures, it's bigger than the machines, figures, the silhouettes, the human silhouettes, they're wearing browns and muted colors, so they thought they were nude. And so they're like, well, some advertisers don't want their ads, their content, and you guys are business owners out there, you wouldn't want it associated with something with nudity. And so the machines figured the machine said, this is nude people. And so all the advertisers says, we don't want our content on some of them were like, some advertisers don't care. The ones that care, so we don't want it on nude. So they told me your video is going to be monetized, but there's going to be limits. You're going to have limits on the ads that we can show on your thing based on this video. So I was able again to ask for that's a machine did it. So I asked for a manual review. So I said, please manual review this. It's not what you think. It's Kanye West in his tacky looking clothes, old fashioned. It's not my fault that he made them all like muted, flesh colored. And so then they said, okay, you're right. And so what happens? It's an automatic thing, and you get a human to review it. And when you get the human, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but you know your rights, so you can push back against it. You know your rights. So.
Oh my God! I had no idea there was so much involved. Did you?
It's a minefield, Dr. Jacalyn. And and I do want to also say that when you upload a video to YouTube and they ask you, "Is this made for kids?" There's a reason why they're asking. Use of images of minors is particularly tricky, even if they're your own kids. I mean, you really do need to get releases for a lot of that, and all this is by way of saying you've got to be more active on social media because your brand requires it.
Yes.
At the same time, you've got to be careful about how you do it, and that's why you need to reach out to JJ Ghatt.
Yes. Oh, you're so great. I'm gonna have you go around with me all around the internet.
Don't do it alone. Yes. Fly with an expert. Fly with somebody who knows how to fly the plane.
I do the same. Like anything I don't know how to do, anything with digital editing, I hire someone because I try to do my stuff. It looks like trash.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that again. Yeah.
Cool.
I want to ask. We have to take a break, but I want to ask when we come back. How do you monetize social media?
Oh,
right. So that's something that I haven't figured out yet. So
I'm getting my pen out.
I'm going back. I'm gonna give you all the ideas until you.
Let's get our notepad. Okay, we'll take a bunch of notes. All right, we're going to hear from Ashley Owens on the art of networking. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Networking sucks and people suck at it, but nothing gives me more life than walking around and talking to people in an audience and really being able to identify, okay, I see where you're having trouble, let's work on fixing it. How do you help them? How do you provide value? My goal is to give them those tools to be able to go out and tackle that fear. Anywhere there's coffee is where I'll be. So I bring candy a lot to my speaking engagements. Like, of course that makes sense. I'm a little unconventional.
Ashley was very knowledgeable.
Very entertaining.
I learned a few new things, and to me that's the key.
What do you want them to say? How do you want to be perceived? You're going to get the most direct tactical tips and practical takeaways when it comes to networking. These two here are super important. You'll remember once the conversation starts.
I love the tips that she gave out. I hate networking with a passion, so I feel like I can go to a meeting or event and not feel so uncomfortable.
When you're going to a presentation, you want to be educated. You also want to be entertained.
She was really fun and really personable, and everything she was saying was just very relatable.
She's got a lot of great ideas.
That will make you stand out so fast.
She comes across as someone that likes what they do and just doesn't try to sell you something.
Activity breeds results. If you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere.
Just made me want to start networking, which I never thought I'd say before.
A networking strategy that works for you.
My stomach issues make me want to stay home, but that's not an option. No matter how prepared I am, I still feel nervous. Enough is enough.
If this sounds familiar, the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation can offer you support and connect you with a specialist.
Don't keep your symptoms to yourself. Get help at spillyourguts.org today.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hi there, and welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the Business Talk Show Special Edition. I am your host and executive producer, and with me is my co-host, Cini, and our special guest, JJ Ghatt. Yay! So JJ, you have given us so many nuggets, so many bullets, so many priceless tips. The money, show me the money, okay?
Yes.
How do we make money with social media?
Okay, great. It's a wonderful question, and I'm glad let me put my other headpiece in. I'm glad you asked because there are so many different ways you can make money, and it's it's great that you asked because what happened is people start. When I started, I had a job, a full-time job, and I have a husband, and then I had essentially what people call a safety net. So I didn't start it off the bat saying how do I make money in this. What I like and enjoy about people nowadays, and especially young people, is they start off from the beginning saying, how do I make money on this? Where do I monetize? And so from the beginning, they do their research, they learn, they take all the tools, they take all the courses, they do consulting, and then they get all the things. And when they build their platforms, when they build their websites, when they build their businesses, they build it not just for the consumer, the customer, but they also build with the eye of, I am developing this audience and building this community for the sole purpose, or one of the purposes of is actually to monetize and make money. So, and that's great because doing it after the fact can be hard. So one of the things that I think the number one thing that I wish I knew back then that I know now is two things. One is that you need a community, especially if you're doing a web-based business or one like you, Dr. Jacalyn, when you have fans, when you're providing a service, when you're providing information, you're providing access to other knowledgeable people. So people tune into your radio station and tune into your streams because they know that you're going to have guests and you're going to be talking about stuff that's going to benefit them, their business, their lives, their livelihood, their families. So that's a service. So you want people to know you and know your brand and be connected to your brand, that community of people, not just because there'll be an audience and you can do ads to target them. Also, because you want them to be brand ambassadors. You want them to go back and say, hey, are you listening to Dr. Jacalyn? Are you watching her show? Do you know Al? Do you know what he's doing? You want them to, when you're behind your back, to be singing your praises and telling people to go look for you. That's the beauty of the community. So the first thing you do is, if you don't have one already, and if you have a community, that's so great, because you have the number one thing I think is community. The second most important thing I think that I wish I knew that I didn't know then is the importance of not just taking a community, but creating an email list, and then also of knowing the importance of search and reaching out to people and getting them meeting their needs, identifying. You have all this community, but out of all those community, there's one person you have to keep in mind, no matter what business you have in, that you're solving that person's that point. The reason why this is important for you making money, because when you are providing a service for that one business person who's just started, Dr. Jacalyn just started something, you are your own, actually you're your own customer avatar. Someone just started, you need to have a high learning curve. You need to quickly get your site up. You need to quickly sort of get an email list. You need to set it up, put all these products on, put all these services in there, and start actually as quick as possible, start funneling people and nurturing them to get money. And so when you identify that person, every piece of content, every piece of show, every single thing you do out there is with that one person in mind. So what happened is, all the other people who are similar to that one person, you're talking to that one person, they can say, oh, she's talking to me. Even though you're talking to one particular person, there's somebody who has all four of those things, but maybe one, they think she's talking to me. She's talking to me. So that's when you get a community of people who like your services, who say, oh, she's talking to me. This is a person I can trust. And the reason why is because later on, here's a different way you can sell, is when you want to market a product or service to them after they finish, you nurture them, give them information. They're more likely to, you have to increase that know, like, and trust. They know you, they like you, and they trust you. So once they trust you, then you can sell. So here's the different ways that people sell using social media. The one way you heard of the term influencers, and that's what influencers do. They get on, especially the social media influencers, the Instagram baddies. They show their clothes, their fashion. People like them. People just enjoy seeing them every day, and so they trust them. They know them. They like them. They trust them. So next thing you know, they're going to be hawking some flat tummy tea, or they're going to be saying, "Here's an outfit I can wear," or such and such is 20% off. So that's how they make money, is because people know them, they like them, they trust them, and they purchase. They want to be like them, and they purchase. So it's immediate sales of affiliate sponsorships. The first way is sponsors. You have ads, so you know about sponsors. That's the most obvious way. That's the most traditional way. The second way that people do it, and also sponsors do this as well, on the radio shows. I was used to co-host, and I used to work on some radio shows as well. And some of the things they have, affiliate marketing. What affiliate marketing does is, it's someone else's product. You promote someone's product, and they'll give you a share. For example, I use Fiverr, I use GoDaddy, I use SEMrush. So I do a YouTube video, and I tell people I use these products. If you purchase or download SEMrush, I would get $100. Each person who downloads will get the new package. I would get a commission sale for referring them. I am a member of Amazon Associate Affiliates, for example. So on my pregnancy blog, I blog about like how to fix up your nursery. So when you do all your nursery, there's certain things you have to have on your website to get people to click, and so people will click through and purchase. So someone the other day having a baby, they decided to go on a shopping spree. They decided it's COVID, they're not going outside. They're going to go to Amazon and shop. And they shop there with $1,400. So the $1,400, Amazon gives me an affiliate share, because they started on my website, they clicked through, went to Amazon, and they purchased. And so as a reward is affiliate shares. So a very different affiliate. You go to my website, I'm working on this now, but I have links to a list of all the different affiliate programs you can sign up for if you are a content creator, like an influencer, like a YouTuber, someone who has a radio show, someone who has something else online where your service isn't necessarily, you're not necessarily selling like a service or product, but you're just selling as a blog or a podcast or a radio show host, where you're serving by giving people information. And so you recommend a product, and then you get a commission sale for all your thousands or millions of listeners are listening when they download it, when they make a phone call. Some of it is as simple as, for every person who calls, even if they don't buy, you get like $5. So you imagine you have a listenership of 1 million people, and a fraction of those people call. You're getting just for the person calling. So it's pay per call. So you get paid per click, so you have paid per purchase. So there's different ways of affiliates. That's the second way. The first way I mentioned sponsors. The second way I said affiliates. The third way is that you have actual products. So a lot of times on YouTube, people have their merch. If you're a huge YouTube channel, you have a huge following. Nick Nimmons, for Harriet, they create little shirts, cups, mugs. and they sell it. Or you might have products. Like I have digital products on my website. I sell like templates, legal templates, simple wills for people who can't afford a lawyer, simple work for hire agreements for small businesses that want to hire someone and they just want to have some sort of contract because in case something goes wrong, they want to have at least a written agreement, simple stuff. So that's a product, it's a digital product I sell. So that's the third way people make money on the internet is when people come to their site, they can have products that they sell either on their blog, which is great, or even their social, like a YouTube channel, you can have like merch. Or sometimes people on Instagram and social just have their own products, their own merch. Some women do like makeup lines and they sell eyelashes or hair or things like that. So the third way you make money on the internet is selling your own products, and not which is different from hawking someone else's. Fourth way is just through traffic. So this is another traditional way, banner ads. So media buying is the largest or most uh, not profitable. They pay you the most money for having media buying ads on your ad. So that's media buying. So you need 50,000 sessions a month and you apply for it. Once you apply for it, so as you creating content, as you use SEMrush, which is a tool I use, or use various different tools, or you're creating stuff that people are searching for and people are coming back to your blog. And one time my blog used to get 250,000 hits a month because I was in a niche area. It's since that niche areas has been taken over by the larger media companies. But when there's a niche area, people will come to my site. And so each person that comes, there's ads. I get paid clicks per million. So let's say there was like, I don't know, it was $15 clicks per million. So for every 1,000 visitors, I would get $15. So if you have a 250,000 or 500,000 people come to your sites per month, that each 1,000 is $15. That adds up a lot. You could be making a substantial amount of money just on ads, just by creating the content. People search for it. They discover you in YouTube. They discover you on video. Google, they discover you on Pinterest, and they click through and come over. That's the fourth way, is just getting just direct ads. So I mentioned sponsorships, affiliate sales, products, ads. I'm trying to think. Oh, and then the other thing too is that when you bring them into your email sequence, capture them, your email, you nurture them, and later on you might sell a product, through your nurture system. That's another way they do it, is through research.
Wow.
Oh
Well,
my gosh, the holy grail of how to make money. That's
you
unbelievable.
want to write all this down.
I know. I hope you guys are taking scribbling notes. And
Everybody ought to be. And the cool thing about this being a program that you can watch on demand is that you can go back and watch it again. Because there is so much in it, and it's such a tremendous value. I know we're coming up on the end of the program, but I did want to say one thing, and that is, as much as JJ knows and all the experience that she has, you can contact her. She can teach it to you.
Yes.
And then you can just develop the discipline that it takes to successfully do things day after day. That's discipline. Maybe you can just spend a minute really quickly on that, JJ.
Okay, yeah, just quickly. Go to my site. I have free courses, but I also have other courses. And then I also have do it for you. Some people just like, you know what, I'm not doing it. You just set it up for me. So if you want me to just set up your website or the blog on your website or set up the social media website, I can do that for you. Just do it for you. And then after that, the other part of it, then I walk you through how to take it over on your own. You're ready to take it over. So I'll do the setup. And then I also have courses on my website that will teach you how to do it. Some of them are free, but then some of them are paid as well. I don't know, I'm not quite sure, but a lot of them are free. So you can just go in and just on your own, do on demand, and learn how to do it yourself.
Key. Great.
JJ, so I have a question. If somebody wants to hire you as an influencer, I would assume you'd have to know them, trust their branding. Can they hire you to go out and help them grow their following? Yeah.
I'm doing that right now for someone. Actually, right now I have a client. That's what I'm doing. I'm working for her, and she has a new brand, and she's trying to branch out. So I'm helping her, like I mentioned a little bit, about 45 minutes into the show, or 15 minutes into the show, I work with her, develop a way, what presence she can be in. And I'm helping her, and I'm also a brand ambassador for her. So I'm helping her get her information out there. And I'm also using my own social, my own network of promoting her and advancing her after we establish the brand colors, the way she's going to reach out to people, the website she's going to do. We established everything, and then we're getting her out there. And when we get her out there, she'll get like media contacts, and she'll get obligations, and she'll grow her brand that way. So I definitely can do that. If you hit me up on jjghatt.com, I can talk more about that.
That's great.
That's outstanding. I have one more question. Sorry, I've got to ask one more. So several times during the show, not this show, people will reach out and say, want to buy followers. What are your thoughts about buying followers.
Yeah. The thing about the buying the followers is that the social media platforms reward true engagement. And when you buy followers, they're not going to truly engage. So once you do it, I know a lot of these big celebrities, they actually do buy just to pad their initial one. So when they first come out, instead of them saying this is a big celebrity, they only have 5,000 followers, they will buy a bunch of them. So once they come out and they have their blue check mark, it can look like they have a lot of followers. What happens then they pad on. Then after the followers make people like they're influential, especially if you have a lot of people following you and you're only following a few people compared to the number of people following you. It looks really good. And the nature of the human mind, the psychology is they want what's hot. People want to be like, oh, you're hot, you're popular, you're popping, I'm going to follow you too. And so they use that as a means of padding on. So people do that, but only if you're going to work hard and then add on a lot of people, and you're going to get a lot of. So then the ratio of the fake to the large is now small, because if you want to get a brand deal, a lot of these brands have tools now where they rate you. They rate how many followers, how many purchase, how many are real and how many are not. And the way the machines gauge real true engagement is when you post, and right after you post, within minutes or so, people are actually commenting and they're liking and they're sharing. That's real people. The bots, once you buy them, you have them, and that's how you know someone has fake followers. Is they'll have like 40,000. I know there's someone I know I follow on Twitter. He all of a sudden he went from like 2,000 followers to like a quarter, like I don't know, 50,000 followers overnight. And then when he tweets, he gets like one tweet, 3 retweets. So if you have 50,000, those are true people. If they like you, they're going to see your content on their feed, and they're going to like it. They're going to tweet. The minute that you don't see the tweets, the retweets, people know instantly, oh, they purchased them. And so I've been on radio shows or listening in with other people, even on Clubhouse, when the Clubhouse host says, you have all these followers, but you don't have high engagement. But people aren't liking, you don't have likes, you don't have retweets, you don't have shares, you don't have comments. What's going on there? And they'll say, oh, because I bought them. So it's really easy, really quickly if people figure out if you bought them. So you can get found out normally. And then also the machines don't reward. They will suppress your content, or it won't show you. If it was YouTube doesn't reward you if you have all these followers but not engagement, no comments, no likes, So you do the fake ones only if you're gonna immediately quickly have a bunch of real ones on top of that. And the celebrities do that. That's one. But if you can't do that, you can't sustain that. It's not worth it.
That is fantastic information. I know we've decided to painfully gather one person at a time as followers. So it's
the best way to do it, because they're organic, they're real, they're laugh. Those are the best ones.
That should be. I mean, there's a message in this too. It's not about getting likes and clicks. It's about getting real, actual, engaged people.
Right, because the real people buy your money, buy your account.
And it's still true. And JJ's saying that even in the world of social media, it's relationships itself.
Yes. Yeah.
So every individual out there is going to make a difference. So.
It's true. And just why I keep saying one more thing. And one more thing. Today, when I was listening on Clubhouse, to the fact that, to your point, some of these people, they have, tens of millions of people who are following them. And then I go to their Instagram, but I don't see any engagement on anything. So then I'm not really sure what's up with that. So I kind of feel like the best thing to do is have good content. And some of the people talking today on Clubhouse, they have podcasts that it's taken years, 7, 8, 9 years. And I said to Al, no, we started in August. We're doing it this year, 2021. So.
You can do it faster, but there's a limit to how fast you can do it, and you've got to do it right. So
yeah,
that's where JJ
I'll be reaching out to JJ. So I will definitely be reaching out to you after the show.
Keywords, use those keywords what people are searching for, so they'll find you.
Keywords, awesome. Well, thank you for being here, JJ. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if you have a minute to wait backstage, we'll be there. If not, I understand. So
I'm good. I'll be there.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So, Mr. Cini, that was a fantastic guest. She is so knowledgeable.
Energy and information. We had plenty of that from JJ, and a lot of really great advice. There was a lot in that, and here's the point. I guess the point of it all is that there is a dynamic to social media, and if you ignore it, it will roll right by you. So this is something people have to face and address and deal with, and it's nice to know you got somebody around like JJ who can help you with that.
That's one of the things I love about this show is that we have people on here who really know what they're doing. They really are experts, and our audience then has the opportunity to go out and contact them to take their brand, their business to another level. So I know I'm going to be reaching out to JJ after the program.
Cool.
I just wanted to share also, we have our dating show. It's all about dating. That's at 4:00 today. We have a husband and wife who actually met on social media. I think it was Match.com, and they're going to share their love story with us. So stay tuned for that. Any final words, Mr. Cini?
No, just everybody stay safe and healthy, and come back and join us again on Wednesday for another Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn Business Edition.
Excellent. All right. Thank you for being here. We'll see you again, hopefully on the dating show, 4:00 right here. Bye.
Bye now.